Hello, guys. Welcome to another exciting, educative, and informative video here on FOM TV. My name is FOM Hine. In this episode, we are going to learn about the profitable business of coconut farming. So, if you have any interest in farming coconut, you might want to stay to the end of this video so that you might learn a thing or two. If today is your first time on this channel, please click on the subscribe button, share this video, and leave us a comment. We'll be glad to respond to your questions and your suggestions. This is how the next coconut seedlings look like. And you can see in this video, we have thousands of the seedlings that has been nursed. Today, we are in Oboadaka. Oboadaka is in the eastern region of Ghana, closer to Abri and Pokrum, which is also closer to Nsawam. So here, we are going to show you how to grow the coconut tree and what profit you can make from the coconut trees. So we have this large piece of land that we have prepared for this purpose. It is very important that you know the type of coconut tree or the species of coconut tree that you are going to grow. So normally we have the dwarf coconut tree and then we have the hybrid coconut tree. The differences between these two types is that the dwarf coconut tree takes only about 3 years to start fruiting and has the most nuts or fruits when it starts to fruit. Now, the hybrid coconut tree also takes about 4 to 5 years to start fruiting. It is the most resistant to common diseases of coconut and obviously taller than the dwarf coconut tree. Whichever type of coconut tree you choose, it is important to note that it is always best to grow in the rainy season. Yes, because you don't want to be watering your coconut trees after planting them. So it is best to grow in the rainy season when there's enough rain to reduce your stress. It's early morning and we are on site ready with our seedlings to plant. Here we have 300 coconut seedlings that we've brought at the back of this car and we are going to plant all of them today. Notice that when you uproot the seedlings from where you nurse them, you have to ensure that some of the roots are left on the coconut pod. So you can see here we have at least 2 or 3 major or big roots on each one of the coconut pod. So it's very important you note this. If you uproot the seedlings without any roots on the coconut seedling, it might be difficult for the coconut to grow to the level as you want it. The first thing we do is to do our pegging. Now, pegging ensures that the seedlings are grown in a straight line and that we make very efficient use of the land so we don't grow anyhow. So each acre of land can take about 70 to 75 seedlings of coconut. So we are growing 70 to 75 seedlings on a land, and you want to ensure that you grow them in a straight line with the best spacing that you can have. The normal spacing should be between 20 to 25 feet, but here we decided to go with 22 feet in space. You can see we are marking the spaces along the pegging line that we laid earlier. So one person will be holding the tape measure at one end and another will be holding the tape measure at the other end with the cutlass. And so anytime he marks the 22 feet that we are using, he will use the cutlass to mark the place. So as we are marking the place, then other people will also be getting ready to dig their holes alongside. You can decide to peg and mark the holes all over the land before you start digging the holes. But here we have extra hands, so we chose to, dig the holes just as we are pegging and marking, plotting our spaces. So this is how you dig your hole. It must be deep and big enough to contain the whole pod of the seedling. So if you are digging your hole, make sure that you dig it a little bit wider and a little bit deeper. Not too deep, but just enough to cover the whole pod that is under the seedling and all the roots that came with it. So that is what we are ensuring in digging the holes. You can see that the soil here is quite fertile. Normally, when you are going to plant coconut seedlings and the soil is not very fertile, like where you are going to grow, it's not a fertile land, normally in the sand somewhere or any other place, you have to ensure that you put manure, normally chicken manure or any other manure, in the hole that you dig before you plant your coconut seedlings. That is also very important so that it will get some nutrients in the soil. There are some places, if you are planting along the beach or at any other place where the soil is not fertile or it's not a farmland, you have to ensure that you put in some chicken manure or any form of manure to ensure or help the coconut to grow very well when it is planted. Sometimes you can also use the manure on the surface or just around the seedlings after you have planted them. That's even if you don't put it inside the hole, you can put it around or form a circle around the seedling when it is planted. And that's also one of the ways you can ensure that the coconut seedlings are going to grow very well. So we continue digging our holes, and you can see the pegging continues because you don't have enough lines to peg the whole farm. So you peg the lines that you mark the holes, you take the line, you go and peg at another place at the interval that you determined right from the beginning. And I've already told you that in this farm, we determined that we are going to use 22 feet spaces between them. The botanical name of coconut is Cocos nocifera, and it can be used for different purposes. Do you know that coconuts can be used as an antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial, and an antiparasite? Yes, an antiparasite because when you burn the husk of coconut, it can actually repel mosquitoes. And so that is one of the benefits of the coconut plant. Research also shows that coconut is highly nutritious and contains essential minerals such as manganese, which is essential in bone health and the metabolism of carbohydrates. As an antibacterial, coconut oil can help block the growth of certain bacterial strains like the Staphylococcus aureus and may actually help in the promotion of blood sugar controls. After digging the holes, we mix water in a bucket and pour this insecticide inside. So you mix it and then it forms this substance. What you are going to do is that we are going to dip the seedlings, the knot of the seedlings, in the solution that we have just prepared. And that is supposed to protect the knot from any insects, pest or parasites in the soil when we plant it, so that the insects don't get to eat the knot or destroy the seedlings when it is put in the soil. So you are going to take the seedlings one after the other and dip it in the water or the solution that we have just prepared, as you see here, one after the other. And this is a painstaking job, but it is very, very important. Alternatively, you can just mix this solution and put it in a spray can, and put it in a spray can and kind of spray all the nuts, just as you do in spraying weedicides. But this time around, you have to take your time and make sure that it is sprayed very well. But I actually prefer this method of dipping it. So this one, you are sure every part of the nut is dipped in the solution, and then you are confident that no insects are going to destroy it once you plant it. So we have to do it for all the 300 seedlings, one after the other. So we are taking them from the car, putting them on one side, dipping them in the solution, and putting the dipped seedlings also on one side. When this is done, then we are ready to plant our seedlings one after the other in the holes that we have just dug. We begin the planting by placing the treated seedlings by the holes that we've already dug all over. This is to ensure that we don't forget or we don't miss any of the holes that had been dug. As one team is putting the seedlings by the holes, another team will now be putting the seedlings in the holes and covering them with the soil. When the pot is covered in the soil, kindly ensure that you firmly press the soil down to compact it, and your planting would have been done. The spaces that we left between the coconut trees, called interrows, do not have to be left idle, as they can be used to grow vegetables such as tomatoes, green pepper, okra, granite, ginger, and these are all things that you can grow to cover up the spaces that were left between the coconut plants. Each coconut tree, when grown, can produce about 15 to 30 nuts per harvest, and you can harvest it for about 4 to 6 times in a year. So we are looking at about 4 times or 6 times harvest, and each time you are going to get about 15 to about 30 nuts per harvest. So this is no joke. If you look at the prices of coconut now, just the coconut fruit now, and how much you can harvest and the number of trees that you have in an acre, that gives you a fair idea of how much you can gain if you are only just selling the coconut fruit. However, the bigger market is in adding value. So Ghana estimates to rake in about 2 billion US dollars from the coconut industry alone. Currently, Ghana is the leading producer of coconuts in Africa, and so we are trying to maintain this spot. And in trying to maintain this spot, we will need more of you guys to enter into the production of coconuts and the coconut processing value chain, and the hundreds of products that coconut can be used into. And this is why there's the need for every investor, serious agric investor, to look at coconut farming. And also, coconut can grow to about 30 to 50 years. So you know that this is a very long-term investment, just as if you were growing cocoa or even rubber. So thank you very much for watching this video. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button so that you continue to enjoy videos as we post them here on this channel. I hope to see you again another time. We are not going to stop. We are going to bring you updates of this farm and how we are taking care of the coconut plants, processes that are involved in getting coconut to the fruiting level. We are going to bring you all those details, and I hope to catch you another time on one of our most entertaining, educative and informative videos here on FOM TV. See you again. Bye bye.